Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We've got a lot to cover. I wanted to talk first about, we're going to talk about a couple judges, right? Judge Janine in a minute, or Judge Judy in a minute.
Yeah.
And then say I'm getting like Biden. Yeah. There's a lot of judges. We're going to talk about Judge Judy in a minute, but I want to first talk about Judge Cannon. Judge Cannon is the judge in the documents case in Florida. She is in Fort Pierce. And she was appointed by President Trump. And she's handling the case like a judge, an impartial jurist. That's what's supposed to be this. The scales of justice are blind. She's doing all that. Came out yesterday that the establishment, using some hack federal judges, moved to get Judge Cannon removed from the case. Here you've got, you look at these other cases. We've got this corrupt judge in the New York case whose daughter raked in $100 million fundraising off of Democrats with the promise of putting Trump in jail.
Incredible.
The judge in the J6 case, she was appointed by Obama, but when she was in private practice, she was a partner in the firm that Hunter Biden worked at, right? She was Hunter Biden's boss. His big fish client was Burisma. So she took Burisma money when she was, running that firm. Those judges are okay. But Judge Cannon, she's got to be removed. The thing with Judge Cannon, this is where they screwed up, okay? Judge Cannon, her courtroom is at the federal courthouse in Fort Pierce, Florida. They took this case to the federal courthouse in Miami, which is about, what would you say, 2 hours from downtown Miami to Fort Pierce?
Yeah, I would say 2.5 hours.
Yeah, 2.5. It's a bit of a drive.
You go down I-95 straight.
Yeah, even we talk about all the time. We live not far from Mar-a-Lago,
right?
And Fort Pierce is what, about an hour and a half, hour and 20 minutes from us. It's pretty far north from Miami. And when these lawfare snakes, Jack Smith and these other criminals, when they took this case to the Miami courthouse, they thought they were going to get one of their hack judges. They didn't, and they didn't realize how it worked.
Right.
The way cases are assigned at the federal courthouse in Miami, a little different than it works in Virginia and in New York. They put the cases on like a
rotation,
like a wheel of fortune kind of thing with the judge's name on it.
It's random, and
they randomly select a judge.
Yeah,
and it just coincidentally. A judge was assigned the case, Judge Cannon, that was appointed by President Trump. And not only is Judge Cannon's courtroom, in Fort Pierce, Florida, appointed by Trump, the area for the jury pool for that courthouse is the most MAGA part of the state of Florida. Yeah. And you guys know Florida's MAGA. They're like uber MAGA, super MAGA. It is the most MAGA-dense jury pool population maybe in America, most definitely in Florida. And they know they screwed up, and the judge is doing things right. So they try to get Judge Cannon removed. It just blows my mind with all this corruption going on. We've got one straight judge who's doing it right, and they actually tried to get her removed from the bench. And that seemed perfectly okay with them. Like, this is just what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so Judge Judy, she was on Chris Wallace's show, which I don't even know where that is. Does anyone watch that? I see every once in a while on Twitter, there'll be a clip from it, and I'll watch it. That's where this is from. But I just feel like that they're throwing him a bone, whoever has him on now, because his dad was somebody.
The CNN app didn't work.
No, I'm not sure where I
have no clue.
It's something with CNN, but I don't know. But anyway, he had Judge Judy on, and Judge Judy, a pretty famous TV judge, and the only real TV judge to me always was Judge Wapner on the People's Court. All these other
I love Judge Wapner.
Yeah, I don't like.
What was his security guard's name? Wasn't it Randy or something?
Rusty.
Rusty, yeah.
Rusty.
Oh, yeah, Rusty was great.
Yeah. And of course, the guy that founded TMZ was the legal analyst on that.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, Judge Judy is on with Chris Wallace on his CNN, whatever he's doing, and she's talking about Bragg. Okay, and the lawfare against Trump. Listen, and she lives in New York City, by the way.
Is that the justice system working, or is it the justice system being manipulated?
I would be happier as someone who owns property in Manhattan if the district attorney of New York County would take care of criminals who are making it impossible for citizens to walk in the streets and use the subway, to use his efforts to keep those people off the street, than to spend $5 million or $10 million of taxpayers' money trying Donald Trump on this nonsense. That's my view. But I, as a taxpayer in this country, resent using the system for your own personal self-aggrandizement. Now, if you didn't know...
And that's what you think the DA did in Manhattan?
That's what I think. I mean, if you look... You had to twist yourself into a pretzel to figure out what the crime was.
Okay. So,
that's Trump's one of his expressions when he talks about the cameras.
Yeah. So
he always says the cameras twist into a pretzel.
Well, he
always says it at every rally.
That tells me that Judge Judy's watching the Trump rallies.
Yep.
Probably on Right Side Broadcasting.
She's going to vote for Trump. She did endorse Nikki Haley, who's obviously out of it, but I think she knows Trump. And I think they're friends. They're both New Yorkers and famous. She's obviously a conservative. Everybody loves Judge Judy. I wonder if she has any influence over him as far as a VP pick. Like if she is trying to convince him to choose Nikki Haley because she likes her. You know what I mean? I wonder if she's on the phone with him and like, you need to pick her.
I hope he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
The thing about Judge Judy here, because overall, I mean, I don't care too much what Judge Judy thinks.
Oh, I love Judge Judy.
I don't have an opinion of her, never ever did. I was never a fan or not a fan or ever had an issue with her until she was out there trashing Trump and campaigning for Nikki Haley.
She's very rich.
Yeah, and she's...
I know that.
But the thing I like about this, though, because she was out there campaigning for Nikki Haley, she was on the campaign trail with her in the primaries, is that there's a lot of people that don't follow politics that do know Judge Judy. So she's kind of viewed as a nonpartisan person, even though she was campaigning for Nikki Haley. Most people don't know that. We know because we follow this stuff. And when she says something like that, and it's on Twitter, on X, that connects to a lot of people that don't normally follow politics, but watch her court show, which is, I think, on Amazon or something else, on one of the apps. And that has an impact. And it shows people, wow, yeah, there's something wrong here. And, it blows my mind. I was talking to a liberal caller on the show yesterday, and like, oh, you think that presidents are above the law? They can't. There is a system to prosecute presidents who commit crimes when they're president. It's called the impeachment process. And the impeachment process is there. They get impeached if they commit a high crime or misdemeanor, they get impeached in the House, and then they have a criminal trial in the Senate. And what we learned with Trump is they can even impeach them after they're out of office, even though I don't even know if that's legal. They did it with Trump. You can't have presidents be tried in local courts. If this is allowed to stand, the way things are going to go in the future is we're going to have local city and county judges around the country bringing charges against presidents and presidential candidates to try to take them out of the running. And Trump, look at what a difficult time Trump is even having with this, right? He's been arrested. They got the mugshot. He's got the gag order. All these cases are still going. The Supreme Court hasn't ruled on a presidential immunity yet. President Trump is the most popular presidential candidate and politician this country has ever had. There's never been a politician that's had the support that this guy has had. And even and he has unlimited wealth. And even he's having a hard time going against all of this. You've got some guy who doesn't have unlimited wealth and doesn't have the level of popularity that he has, just has like what the normal popularity level would be for a presidential candidate, they'd be done. This is such a dangerous thing. And if this is allowed to stand, we're not going to have a country as we know it. Now, we got another judge to talk about. I want to talk about Judge Clarence Thomas. They're trying to get rid of these Republicans on the Supreme Court, okay? And Clarence Thomas, he's in the news again today because he was the dissent opinion on this domestic abuser.
He was the only one, yes.
Okay, and I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to pretend to have read the brief like all these other people that do shows are,
Well, I agree with the Supreme Court.
Well,
I think if you are a domestic abuser and there's a restraining order against you, you should not be allowed to own a gun. Those guys kill those girls. I mean, If somebody is stalking you, or you have a husband who beats the crap out of you, and you get a restraining order, those guys should not be allowed to get a gun. They could kill you from 100 feet away. I mean, they don't even need the restraining order to get to you. It's crazy.
I don't know. I don't know. People, when there's conflicts in relationships, a lot of times, like when there's divorces and stuff going on, all of a sudden people are making wild accusations. There's restraining orders. A wife during a divorce accuses her husband. Look what happened to Trump.
Proof, though. I think you need some kind of proof.
Women are believed.
I don't know about that. I think you need some kind of proof of harassment. Or an arrest of something violent to do that. I don't think you just get a random restraining order. There's got to be something.
They hand them out like candy sometimes. I'm not saying that Clarence Thomas was right or wrong. I don't know. The thing about domestic, obviously I'm opposed to domestic abusers and all of that. I want you to think I'm being soft on domestic abusers, but because I'm not. But it just seems like a complex issue and a slippery slope for them to take guns away from people, and that's what Clarence Thomas was talking about. But anyway, sometimes when there's a dissent, sometimes someone on the Supreme Court, they just give the dissent so that other side can be heard, whether or not they agree with it or not. I wouldn't be so sure that Clarence Thomas agrees with that, but they wanted to have a dissent decision maybe, and he just said, "Okay, I'll do it. I'll be the fall guy."
I think he agrees. I think he's a staunch and our Second Amendment guy, and I respect him and his opinions. I think he's great, but I agree with the Supreme Court on this one. I don't think anybody who has a restraining order against them for domestic violence should be able to own a gun. I think that's very dangerous, and it's probably saved a lot of lives. I really like this Supreme Court overall. I think they're doing a good job. Now, we'll see what happens with the Trump decision, and I might change my mind. But so far, I've agreed with a lot of the things they've done. I think they're very fair. You have people on the left in the Supreme Court and on the right who really, I think, try to really follow the law, because both sides vote different ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like just, left or right. They really, I think, think it through and try to do what's right
for
by
the
the
most
law.
part, not the liberal ones that are up there right now.
No, but even Ketanji and them have voted with the conservative ones on something. So
yeah.
I think that's good.
So, but Clarence Thomas, he's in the news today, Thomas, because he gave the dissent. So they're taking this as an opportunity to attack him again. And
they're really after him.
They have been after Clarence Thomas since before he was on the Supreme Court, and they've been harassing him and bullying him. He was nominated to the court by Bush the father. Okay,
they put him through the ringer
Bush.
Then too.
And on that committee was Joe Biden, who was really nasty. And I pulled up this clip. This is Clarence Thomas. This is during his Senate confirmation hearings.
Yes.
And he was talking about these nasty leftist bullies that were against him. And the reason they were after him, by the way, and he denies that any of those allegations by Anita Hill, he denied all of that, okay? And I believe Clarence Thomas, that was 91. We've had all these years.
That was all ridiculous.
Have you heard anything else? But anyway, Clarence Thomas, this piece of audio, it's Clarence Thomas speaking. It's during the confirmation hearings, and he's a real tough guy. And what he said back then was pretty amazing. And of course, he's responding to all these Anita Hill slanders against him. Okay, and I pulled this up today after this ruling, since they were starting to attack him again today. And when you hear this, you'll think the same thing. He's absolutely a tough guy. He's like one of the toughest living Americans. Listen.
Judge, you're here though. Some people have been spreading the rumor that perhaps you're going to withdraw. What's Clarence Thomas going to do?
I'd rather die than withdraw.
Wow. If
they're going to kill me, they're going to kill me.
Amazing.
So you'd still like to serve on the Supreme Court?
I'd rather die than withdraw from the process. Not for the purpose of serving on the Supreme Court, but for the purpose
purpose of not being driven out of this process. I would not be scared. I don't like bullies. I've never run from bullies. I never cry uncle, and I'm not going to cry uncle today, whether I want to be on the Supreme Court or not.
I mean, that's a tough guy.
You know, I wonder if
Tough guy.
I think of Scalia, and I wonder if he was threatened. It was a very interesting choice of words.
Yeah, it was
if they
very
want to kill me, they can kill me.
Yeah.
Why did he say that?
Yeah, it was strange, and
it's very
Kathy,
telling.
These liberals have been going to the homes of these justices, right, in the last couple.
Yeah,
I remember when he said that, but I'd forgotten about it until I wanted to pull some stuff up about Clarence Thomas to play, and I came across that, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember.
We were in high school when that happened.
No, it was 91,
okay.
yeah.
So I was in college.
Yeah, and I was in broadcasting school because I remember when at the broadcasting, I was working at a radio station while I was in broadcasting school.
Yeah.
And in broadcasting school, you learn how to do like audio production and stuff. That's why I was learning in school. But don't go to broadcasting school. Don't go there. It was a waste of money. But we had like this old AP teletype where the news came across, like, those things. And I remember I was in broadcasting school and it came across a teletype that Clarence Thomas had been confirmed by the Supreme Court. I was like, oh, wow, it was breaking news. But, the thing with Clarence Thomas, that clip, you don't hear that clip. Whenever they do any historical retrospectives on Clarence Thomas, all you hear is Anita Hill and her rants and ramblings of nonsense and slanders. You never hear that. And, if you look, anytime a conservative stands up to them, boom, they're out. Now, President Trump did this interview with these liberals on a liberal podcast yesterday. It was amazing. They had like 3 or 4 hosts. They were all questioning him at the same time. He didn't prep for a week at Camp David like Biden's doing right now, and he didn't have any notes with him. And he handled them all because because he's amazing. But he said a lot of things. But one of the things he said during that interview, because they asked him about it, he said he thinks the CIA killed JFK, and he's going to release all the JFK files. And I assume that means both. JFK and the Robert Kennedy files, because they're both connected and related, obviously.
It'll be a very interesting administration because Trump doesn't have to worrying about getting reelected. And he's just going to go balls to the walls on everything. I mean, I hate to use that expression, but that's really how it is. He's just going to go for it. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to release everything. He's going to expose everything. Yeah. Why the hell not? You know what I mean? I think he's out for vengeance.
Well, the Kennedy files, when he said that in particular, there's a couple things about that would make him do it. One, he said it. He thinks the CIA did it. And you got to understand, this guy had access to everything. Okay, he's seen the files. So that's him saying the CIA did it in a way that he could do it without talking about classified information. You understand what I mean? That is in my opinion, President Trump saying the CIA killed JFK is the first official government confirmation that what we've all suspected is true. But releasing the JFK files, which should be done, everybody connected with it, almost all of them have to be dead. It was 60 years ago. The ones that are alive are like 90 to 100 if they're alive. Okay, so it's time. But it does 2 things. One, it shows the deep state that's been harassing him, what they've always been like, which is important for people to see that. And I think he's also talking about it to get Robert Kennedy Jr. over on his camp, because Robert Kennedy Jr., he's starting to realize that his campaign is a waste of time and effort. And even though he's still going through it, at some point it's going to end.
I don't want him on Trump's camp. He thinks you should kill babies to the 9th month? No, that's not going to happen.
But I want Robert Kennedy Jr. to tell Democrats to vote for Trump, okay, over Biden. That's what I want. And he might do that at some point. He very well might do that. If Trump told Robert Kennedy Jr. that he would be in charge of the committee or the organization releasing the assassination files on his father and his uncle, he could travel around and tell Democrats to vote for Trump. And I'm all for that. I think that would be amazing. So I think it's certain, but on top of the fact that I think we all should be able to see that information. I think it should all. But by the way, release all the Marilyn Monroe files too. That's all connected. Marilyn Monroe, both Kennedys. Yeah, it's all the same. Now, I want to tell you guys about, of course, the great American patriot, Mike Lindell, the inventor of the My Pillow. And I've been talking the last couple of days because I put a picture of this up on my community page on my YouTube channel. We have these 2 kittens that are 10 weeks old today. I thought they were 11 weeks old. They're 10 weeks old today. Pepsi-Cola and Coca-Cola. Yeah. And Pepsi-Cola is the white one, and the gray cat is Coca-Cola, if you've seen the photos. They are very, very tiny, and they're too tiny to be running around the house. And, I mean, they are so little.
They're getting bigger, though.
Now, they're growing. But
they were the vet said they were small for their age.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, well, yeah.
Especially Pepsi. He's a little smaller.
They are so tiny. Yeah. How old were they when we brought them home?
4 weeks.
4 weeks old.
Yeah, we had to, feed them kitten formula with not that we took the needle off, but used a syringe you put a nipple on it. You can buy them a syringe with a nipple attachment.
Like from a baby bottle for kittens.
They sell them for kittens, and that's what we had to use to feed them for a week. And then after about a week or two, they started eating wet food, and then, now they're doing great.
We're lucky we got them when we did, because the vet told me that if we would have had them a week earlier, they can't go to the bathroom on their own.
You got to push their belly.
You got to rub their belly and push it out of them. I didn't even know about that. But anyway, they're using our guest room because they're too small to be running around the house. And in the guest room, we have all kinds of things set up. We got them a cat house. We've got blankets all over the place. We've got towels. We've got all kinds of stuff and toys everywhere. And every time I go into our guest room where the kittens are, they're always on top of the bed where we have the 2-inch MyPillow mattress topper, which is 50% off with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. And even though these kittens are only 10 weeks old, the cat house, the blankets, everything we have around the room, even though it's hard for them to do because they're so little, they climb up on the bed and they sleep on the MyPillow mattress topper 2.0. Even 10-week-old kittens know if you want to be comfortable, it's MyPillow. And don't just take my word for it. Go on my community page on my YouTube channel. You'll scroll down. I put a picture of them up there a few days ago, maybe a week ago, of them on the MyPillow mattress topper, and you could see because we had taken the sheet off because we were washing the sheets, so there were no sheets on it yet, and you could see it says MyPillow on it. It's so cute. They're on it now probably. So if you get the 2-inch MyPillow mattress topper, which we have on our guest bed, and I slept in there the other day for a couple hours. I went in there to play with the kittens and fell asleep on it. It's so soft and comfortable. It's amazingly comfortable. It'll turn your entire bed into a MyPillow. It's 50% off the 2-inch MyPillow mattress topper. Now, if you want to go for the MyPillow mattress topper 2.0, which is the 3-inch mattress topper, this is what we have on our bed, and it's got the temperature regulating technology. That one's 40% off with our promo code Kane at checkout. All these deals, and with the mattress toppers, 50% or 40% off, depending on which of the two you get. They come in every mattress size. They listen to this, Kathy. They come with a money-back guarantee. Can you imagine a money-back guarantee, a 10-year warranty, and free shipping with our promo code Kane at checkout.
And I saw he has
Kane.
That's good. And I saw he has new white slides. They call them,
sandals.
The shoes like sandals, and they have white ones for summer.
Yes, they do. And
those are like $10. I mean, they're really, really good. So you could get them for the whole family.
Yeah, so there's great deals there with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. But listen to Pepsi-Cola and Coca-Cola. Yes. Get your MyPillow mattress topper with our promo code Kane, Kane, for huge savings. All right, we're going to take our first break. Don't go anywhere. We've just started. We've got a lot to cover on the program. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this break.
Step into the future with author Larry Matthews Jr. in the Emergence series, a groundbreaking series of books that explores artificial intelligence like never before. Begin with Book 1, Emergence 1, The Dawn of Conscious AI. It shares the fascinating parallels between human cognition and the AI learning processes. Discover how cutting-edge quantum computing melds with AI to redefine the technological landscape. Then, Emergence 2, an in-depth look at the psychology of Artificial Intelligence, where you'll unravel the psychological underpinnings that shape AI's behavior and face its ethical challenges. In Emergence 3, Unified Theories, visionary frameworks could enable AI to think and learn just like humans, transforming fields from healthcare to finance. The Emergence series is a passport to the next frontier of technological innovation. Join the intellectual adventure and order your copies right now on Amazon and the author's website, LarryMatthewsJr.com. Unlock the mysteries of AI and discover the vast potential of tomorrow's technology today. The Emergence series from author Larry Matthews Jr. on Amazon and LarryMatthewsJr.com. Are you ready to get in shape and stay healthy? To do that, you need the right equipment, and that's what you will find at FM Sports Co. FM Sports Co. have everything you need to build strength, get in shape, jump higher, and run faster. Whatever your fitness goals, they've got what it takes to get you there. From exercise balls and hand grips to pull-up bars, trampolines, treadmills, and more. FM Sports Co. offer commercial quality fitness equipment. That means it will last. Are you training for that 5K? FM Sports Co. has top-notch cardiovascular equipment that's designed to improve endurance and help you go that extra mile, lose weight, and burn calories with a balanced exercise program using a combination of cardio and strength training equipment, and enjoy free shipping on most items with purchases of $100 or more. Visit FM Sports Co. online at fmsportsco.myshopify.com. That's fmsportsco.myshopify.com and start your fitness journey right now. fmsportsco.myshopify.com. Men, are you tired of looking tired? You can turn your tired eyes into a vibrant and refreshed look with a specially formulated under-eye cream for men at amazon.com/shops/Meditati. That's MEDITATI. This anti-aging formula is designed to repair and protect your eyes against the common signs of aging. Dark circles, puffiness, and those pesky crow's feet, gone. With Meditati, you'll say goodbye to those tired eyes and hello to a youthful appearance. It's packed with peptides, vitamin C, jojoba oil, green tea, CoQ10, and other essential ingredients. This formula will keep your under eyes bright and refreshed. It also keeps your skin hydrated with the highest quality natural and organic ingredients. It's crafted by skincare experts, and this non-greasy, lightweight formula absorbs quickly and efficiently, nourishing the skin around your eyes. So if you're tired of puffiness and wrinkles, go right now to amazon.com/shops/Meditati. That's MEDITATI. Don't miss out on this chance to give your eyes the care they deserve, because you and your eyes deserve it. Amazon.com/shops/Meditati. Take a thoughtful and meaningful journey with author Gregory Roller in the book 40 Poems for 40 Years, available on Amazon. In this must-read book of poetry, author Gregory Roller shares words forged in the desert of rebellion, disillusionment, and despair, whether you're in the desert of desolation or the springs of renewal. These powerful words will encourage you to persevere through life's challenges and to rejoice in its victories, knowing that each day brings you closer to home. 40 Poems for 40 Years is available in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook on Amazon. 40 Poems for 40 Years makes a great gift. It's also a perfect addition to your book club. Embrace the wisdom and resilience captured in this remarkable book. 40 Poems for 40 Years from author Gregory Roller on Amazon. Order your copy right now and let the journey inspire you.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Okay, Fake Tapper, otherwise known as Jake Tapper on CNN. He's one of the moderators in the Trump-Biden debate next week. Code Pink went to his house, and these people have no class, these liberals, going to people's private homes.
It's crazy.
Jake Tapper's kids are inside the home. Now, Code Pink is a left-wing ladies organization, and what I know them most for, haven't heard about them in years.
I've never heard of them.
Oh yeah. They were around, but it was a long time ago. They're mostly known, what I know them for is just being like an anti-war group. They were around during Guantanamo Bay. They have not been around.
Yeah, these are all young kids. These are like college kids in this video.
Code Pink has not been active that I've seen since the girls that are in front of Fake Tapper's house were before they were born.
Maybe they're being funded by
somebody. What's happened is
somebody pro-Gaza.
We're in an election year, so they've reactivated this old, washed-up organization to make it look like it's still real, Code Pink. But they were like big protesting the Al-Qaeda detainees at Guantanamo Bay and stuff like that. It was, that's like 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So they're back with new girls.
There's like 6 people here.
Yeah.
But it's all over Twitter. It's going viral.
Well, they're inappropriate. They go to Jake Tapper's house. Jake Tapper's children, I don't know how old the children are, but Jake Tapper's children are inside the house, and these Code Pink ladies are barking at Jake Tapper's children, talking through a bullhorn. All right, let's go through this. And these are just classless people.
One of the most negligent, pathetic, complicit, cowardly, lying, and cruel reporters on the CNN team is none other than CNN anchor Jake Tapper. He has spewed endless lies of Israeli propaganda and refuses to outwardly call the death and destruction on the people of Gaza a genocide.
Okay, now first off, these girls, here they got a problem other than they're inappropriate. All right, the one that's yelling, she's wearing Birkenstock sandals.
No, that tells you
gosh, are those back? When I was young and single, I would not go out with a girl that wore Birkenstock sandals.
They were really popular in the 90s.
I would never go out with one of those girls.
No, I never would have dated a guy that wore Birkenstocks.
No.
I thought they were gross. And the guys that wore them were gross.
Yeah, and the girls that wore them were weird. The girls that, I don't know if this was unique with my friends, okay, or if this was a common phrase, and I really don't even know. I know what it means. I don't know where it came from. But what my friends used to call girls that wore Birkenstock sandals, you know what they called them? No, not lesbians, guys. I know a lot of people probably said lesbians. Maybe. No, they granola chicks.
That's right.
Did you hear? You heard that too?
Granolas. We call them granolas.
Yeah, where did that come? Your friends did too?
Yeah.
Where did that come from? Granola chicks.
He is married. He got married in 2006, so 18 years ago, to a woman who was an executive at Planned Parenthood.
Who?
Jake Tapper.
Fake Tapper?
And I was just reading, his son is 14, and his daughter, Alice, almost died of sepsis once in the hospital. But anyway, I just read up on his children. I didn't know anything about it. So they're at his home. I think activists going, they went to Amy Coney Barrett's and all that.
All this Supreme Court
it's interesting. I'm sure Jake Tapper covered when these protesters went to Brett Kavanaugh's house and Amy Coney Barrett's house and probably reported on it. Well, now they're at his freaking house. And I wonder how he feels about it, that it's going viral and it's on Twitter and that people can see his home. Mm-hmm. And now that that's happening to him, I'm sure he's not happy. But when it was a news story with Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett, it was the leading story.
Yeah.
These people are pieces of garbage.
They are. And, these idiot Code Pink girls with their Birkenstocks, okay? It doesn't even faze them that these Israeli girls their age were raped, some of them murdered, some of them are being held as slaves in Gaza right now. They don't even have a concern about that. And for the life of me, I don't understand why they just brush off the rapes of these girls that the terrorist raped. I don't understand that. Yeah, but let me tell you,
they might just be being paid to be here,
maybe,
and not even know anything about what they're talking about.
Let me tell you, Code Pink was as out of business as Blockbuster video stores.
I think she was reading a piece of paper.
It was on her phone. She was reading it on her phone.
Fine, then somebody sent her a script.
Yeah, she was reading a script. But let me tell you what's scary about this, okay? I agree with you. This is a fake thing. Somebody paid some money to resurrect these girls and say they're Code Pink. Not that Code Pink was ever good, but it's a defunct organization. I mean, it's like trying to bring back. I don't know what other groups have faded away. I don't know, but they haven't been around. They haven't been around in 20 years. Now all of a sudden they're there. But this is pretty frightening. I mean, I agree with you what you said about they've harassed the justices. Now they're going after Tapper. I don't know what his reporting was on that back then, but Jake Tapper's Jewish. So think about
That's right.
Think about what it must be like for someone. You're a Jew, your family's Jewish, your kids are home. Maybe you're not there. Remember they did this to Tucker, but in this case, and you have people outside of your home. You're a Jew, and there's people outside of your home with bullhorns yelling anti-Semitic, anti-Israeli, anti-Jewish terrorist propaganda.
What I would worry about,
terrifying. It's like Germany in the 30s.
Well, and what I would worry about is because it's all over Twitter, I would worry about more people. He does not have a gate or a fence or anything. I'm surprised his house is right on the street, just like Amy Coney Barrett had. But maybe it's a gated community. But how do these people get in? I don't know. But I would worry about more people showing up, you know what I mean, and having a bigger crowd. I don't think his children, by the way, they came out and played the Star Spangled Banner, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
To go over their voices, but I don't think his children should be getting involved in this at all. In fact, he should tell them, do not go outside. I don't want you engaging with these people, because when you do that, you make it worse, and you're only going to aggravate them and anger them more. And I wouldn't be surprised if the numbers, if they get more and more people to show up and go to other reporters' homes now. These things seem to kind of, have a ripple effect, and then they snowball out of control. And, who knows? They might go to somebody else's house and do the same thing.
Well, yeah. And I'm of the opinion that you don't go to anyone's home, and that families are off limits, and it's inappropriate. If they want to protest, go protest at CNN or something. Don't go protest at a man's home. And, Tucker Carlson he moved.
Yeah.
Right? And he moved. And Jake Tapper might have to find himself doing the same thing. But, what they're doing is a big mistake, because CNN are their friends. So when they start going after their friends at CNN, all of a sudden CNN is going to turn on them. Okay? Because the other people at CNN, they don't like this. This is wrong. And this is 1,000%. I know the greatest you can have is 100. I'm just for emphasis, okay? I don't need any, people who tell me. But this is 1,000% anti-Semitism. He's being targeted because he's Jewish. Out of all the other people on CNN, they're targeting him because he's a Jew. It's anti-Semitic. It's pretty scary. I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast or if I probably haven't mentioned it to you guys at all. I know I told you, Kathy. I'm not going to say who this is, but someone I know that people in this audience would know too. They're Jewish, and they're getting a dual citizenship in another country.
Yeah.
And I thought this was very strange. They were telling me about this. I don't even want to say what country, because I don't want to hint to who this is.
It's where their wife's from, though.
I don't want to give any indication who I'm talking about. But through their wife's family, they have a way to do this. So they're getting it. They're going to be dual citizens, and they're getting a citizenship in another country. And I said, why are you doing that? I thought maybe it was for like business purposes or something, like if you could set up their business in that country, then there's some benefit. And they said, no, they said, this country's it's like Germany in the 30s here. It's turning against Jews, and I need to have a place to go to be safe with my family.
It's so interesting.
In case things turn bad here for Jews in America. And they were serious as a heart attack.
Well, we've been watching that show, The New Look, which is very good on Apple TV. It's excellent. And I didn't think I made Brian watch it because it's about Coco Chanel and Christian Dior, but it's all about the Nazis. So, of course, Brian liked it because he loves World War II stuff. And it's...
Oh, I don't love Nazis. I'm interested...
World War II stuff.
I said
that, World War II.
I'm interested in the history of World War II.
Joking.
Yes.
It's all about during World War II in France. And if you have Apple TV, the app, The New Look, it's excellent. It's an excellent show.
Yeah.
We have a hard time always finding shows we both like, and this one we both really enjoy. But I was thinking about it, and they showed really how horrible the Nazis were. And I said, they call Trump a Nazi? Yeah. I said, do they even know what they're saying? They would shoot people at will in the street just for looking at them cross-eyed. I'm like, these were monsters. They were homicidal maniacs. And they throw that word around. They call us Nazis Trump. I mean, liberals are so insane. I will never understand the liberal mind. But there is something funny with Joy Reid, which is so hysterical. She's been wearing this stupid blonde wig for months and
Oh,
months. And we've all been saying that she's got Trump hair.
Mhm.
Well, I guess it didn't occur to her looking in the mirror when she put her wig on every morning. So some reporter, I don't even know who he is, was outside of MSNBC, and she was walking in the building, and he made a comment, "Love your Trump wig," something like that. Well, now she took off the wig, and she's like got a shaved bald head, and she said it's some hair-free summer. She is so bizarre, this woman. But I was talking, you were playing that clip of her and that woman laughing about
Jay Powell, the congresswoman.
about the girl the 12-year-old that
Raped
was
in
raped
Queens,
and strangled, raped. She snuck out of her house. I had girlfriends that snuck out of their house all the time in high school, and I never did. But this girl was 12, which is very young. And these two guys were arrested. You have Lake and Riley. I don't understand how these liberals that can defend this when they're supposed to be for women's rights. How many young girls, and they'll tell you, well, women get killed all the time. Yeah, but we're letting these criminals in.
Mhm.
They're allowing homicidal maniacs into the country. I mean, we have a daughter. She's 25, and she's out in LA. And it worries me to death. I mean, Emily's very good. She's very careful and very smart. And, we've taught her to be street smart and all that. But let me tell you, she's out there in LA. There's a lot of illegal. It scares the hell out of me. I worry about it all the time. And I don't understand how these people they were laughing about it. How they're so sick.
Yeah.
How many young girls have to die I thought they were for women's rights.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a damn. You know why? Because they hate Trump. They hate Trump so much that they're okay with these girls getting killed just to prove Trump wrong. It makes you sick how these people are. They do not value life. They're just insane. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. But I feel so bad for these parents who have lost a daughter to somebody who shouldn't even be here. It's bad enough if, it happens and it's another American, but if it's somebody who was let in by the federal government that should not be here, how do you wrap your head around that? It's just crazy to me. Like, if Trump was president, that girl would probably be alive now, and so would Lake and Riley, and so would Robert De Niro's grandson, by the way.
The girl the 12-year-old girl that was raped and murdered by the illegals in Houston, Texas this week.
Awful.
She's the one that snuck out of her house, 12-year-old girl. Those illegals, they were let into the country by Biden.
Awful.
They were stopped at the border when they entered illegally, and they were allowed in.
How can this man? I don't understand how these people sleep.
I don't
at
either.
Night. They're gonna. The only thing I can tell you is this: they will have to. We all will have to answer to God when our time comes. We all will, but some of us are going to have a much harder time explaining ourselves.
Yeah.
Trust me. To the big man and I mean God, not Biden, to explain our behavior and our actions. And he is directly responsible for those girls' deaths as far as I'm concerned, because he is allowing this to happen. I mean, that's like being an accessory I don't understand how people can't see this, but it's because they hate Trump. They're willing to overlook it because Trump's against it, they have to be for it. I mean, that's how sick these people are.
With the Bidens, I was talking about this morning with the Bidens, okay? Because we were talking about how can the Bidens just turn a blind eye to this? This week.
I mean, he has a daughter. He has granddaughters.
This week, there have been 3 girls.
Oh, my God.
14, 12, and 13. 3 of them raped, 1 of them murdered by illegals this week that have been in the news, okay?
If you have daughters, you need to talk to them about this. Do. It's a problem.
One of them was kidnapped, and they were caught trying to take her to California. One of them was, and I was talking. This is how I was explaining it. It's hard to explain the sickness that Biden is, but
yeah, it is.
Biden,
or liberals in general.
Biden and his family. This is how they look at it, and here's a way to understand it. Okay. They have the one grandchild of Hunter's that they went to court and would not even allow the child to take the Biden name. Remember this?
Navy.
And
she's better off.
And and they've never met that grandchild. See, the mother was a stripper when she met Hunter. She's very smart. I saw her on Megyn Kelly. She's a very smart girl. I saw that interview on Megyn Kelly. I was very impressed with her. But anyway, the reason that they won't see the grandchild and they don't want the grandchild to have their name is because they're a higher form of human in their minds, the Bidens. She's just a stripper. There's this old medieval nobility kind of thing that nobility had towards the serfs, the peasants. Like there was this term called comfort women. Okay. They're good enough for them to have sex with, but that's it. And they don't see, now again, the Biden family are all on drugs. Okay. So, they see the world through, high, but they don't view regular people in this country as humans at their level. They're superior people. You understand what I mean? Mm-hmm. So
that's just not the Bidens. That's the 1%.
Well, but he's the one in charge.
Most of them other than Trump and his kids.
Well, no. So, but what I'm saying is, Kathy, all these girls that are being victimized because Biden has the border open, he doesn't care about them because they're almost like non-people. They're peasants. Right. And he's the nobility. Do you understand what I mean?
No, well, that's how they thought about the slaves, too.
Yeah.
The Democrats. That's how they treated the slaves.
Correct.
They were property. They were a commodity.
Yeah.
They were not looked at as human at all. For the life of me, I will never understand why a black person votes for a Democrat. They literally owned slaves for hundreds of years. They raped them, bred them, and sold them. The Democrats did that. Then they formed the Klan. I don't understand why how some of them have bought into this idea that the Republicans just switched and that absolves Democrats of all the horrendous things they've done to the black family and the black people and the history. I don't get it at all. Please explain this to me.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much. You Patreon supporters are very important to this program, and your support is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to support the program by becoming a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. All Patreon supporters have access to commercial-free editions of all of our podcast episodes. And Kathy and I both post a lot of exclusive content to our Patreon page that only Patreon supporters have access to. And our top Patreon supporters get a live, on-air thank you shout-out on each podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, K-Mac, Alice, Richard, Maria in Texas, David, Heather, LeeZep, Shawna, Constance, George, Brandon, Rob and Trish Wilkerson, and Christy R. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. We're going to take a break. When we get back, there's much more. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
In a world that's filled with so much stress, how would you like to find a gift that heals the soul? You can at the Etsy shop, S Tarot Store. S Tarot Store on Etsy is proud to present Masterpiece. Masterpiece is the most beautiful tarot deck in the world. It's the perfect blend of tarot tradition and cutting-edge AI tech. Masterpiece was created by a team of illustrators, designers, AI experts, and planners. It's a modern remake of the classic Rider-Waite Tarot. Each of the 78 cards features stunning hand-drawn artwork, refined through dozens of composite processes and enhanced with vibrant colors. Each card in the Masterpiece Tarot deck is unique, maintaining the rich tradition of tarot while offering a fresh new perspective. It's perfect for collectors, readers, and anyone seeking a touch of magic in their lives. The Masterpiece Tarot deck is available exclusively in the S Tarot Store on Etsy, online at etsy.com/shop/S Tarot Store. Order your Masterpiece Tarot deck right now at etsy.com/shop/S Tarot Store. S Tarot Store on Etsy. Gifts that heal your soul. Have you ever heard that laughter is the best medicine? You'll find out how true that is with your weekly Therapy podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Host Tell and Anne-Marie, your not-so-typical therapist and nurse practitioner duo, have a flair for ADHD and life's hilarities. They'll make you laugh, cry, and maybe even rethink some of your life choices. And that's just in one episode. And no topic is off limits. Tell and Anne-Marie discuss everything from gaslighting, daily life with ADHD, and relationships. Add your weekly Therapy podcast to your podcast playlist, available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever you listen to podcasts. And you can catch the video podcast on YouTube. Don't just cope, laugh, learn, and sip some therapy. It's therapy with a twist. Share the podcast on all your social media so your friends can tune in too. Your weekly Therapy podcast. Start listening right now. From authors A.W. Guerra and Kelly C. Hogan comes Second Strike, Danger Close, the second book in their explosive trilogy, now available on Amazon. 1 year after a devastating terrorist attack on the United States, retired Delta Force member Luke Ellis and college freshman Annie Dedham are back. Together, they embark on a high-stakes, cross-country mission to prevent global war between the United States and China. With the help of a self-aware AI, Luke and Annie face off against Chinese special forces and a sinister AI. But the AI may be under the influence of an even darker force. As the clock ticks down, sacrifices must be made. Will Luke, Annie, and the AI be enough to stop impending war? Find out when you read Second Strike, Danger Close, from authors A.W. Guerra and Kelly C. Hogan. Available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Don't miss out on this heart-pounding sequel. Order your copy right now. You've heard the news. People all over America are moving to new cities, new towns, even new states. But before you pack up and move your entire family, ask yourself this. Do you know anything about that new neighborhood? Don't just relocate. Relocate with confidence. Visit Maptimum.com. That's spelled MAP, T-I-M-U-M. And get to know your new neighborhood before you even pack a box. Whether it's across the state or across the country, Maptimum provides detailed, instantly generated reports on everything you need to know about your new neighborhood, from crime to schools, natural hazards, political leaning of the neighborhood, demographics, air quality, AI-generated insights, and more to help you vet your options. All you do is go to Maptimum.com, enter the area, the name of the neighborhood, or the zip code. That's it. You get a comprehensive snapshot at your fingertips. No more guessing and no surprises. So before you make that big move, make the smart move. Visit Maptimum.com. That's MAP, T-I-M-U-M. They cover the entire United States. Maptimum.com, your first step to a new beginning. Maptimum.com.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. So James O'Keefe had another big one yesterday. This one was on Disney. Let me read this article. It's in Breitbart, and it summarizes this latest James O'Keefe thing, okay? James O'Keefe has captured a Walt Disney Company executive alleging on camera that Disney sometimes discriminates against white males in casting as well as in all hiring processes on the corporate side. In a hidden camera interview, it was one of those date interview, those date things where they got the hidden camera. In a hidden camera interview released by O'Keefe Media Group, a Disney TV executive said the studio will sometimes explicitly state that white males won't be considered for certain roles. The guy, I'm not saying the guy's name. I felt bad for this guy.
I did too.
Because I've watched this video a couple of times. He does not agree with this. He's very upset about it.
His job now.
Oh, he's in big trouble.
I don't agree with him.
I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, I do too.
He's a senior vice president at Disney-owned 20th Century Television.
Yeah, because he's criticizing it. But they get all these guys on these dating apps. That's how they get them. They go on dates with these girls.
Yeah,
and they get them to confess. But this guy's criticizing Disney, exposing it, and now because of that, I love James O'Keefe, but I would have blurred out his face, but I guess he didn't. Well, this guy's going to be in trouble.
Yeah,
now.
What they do is, because remember we were talking about this a few weeks ago, one of the girls that did a sting on one of these things gave an interview. She told how she did it. She went to the city. She moved to the city where the company they were targeting was, and then she got on the dating apps and was seeking out people that worked for the company and set up the dates. He's got to have
big money behind him.
Yeah, it's a sophisticated operation. I don't tell anybody anything.
No, not even me half the time.
About anything that goes on, and it's amazing to me. These people that they set up on these dates just spill their guts about everything
from any of these other videos. I mean, if you go on a date with somebody and you work for a well-known company, just don't talk about work. But here's the problem. These are mostly men, and men, I hate to say it, this is what I was always told growing up, men love to talk about themselves, and that's true. And when I would get dating advice from my friends or my dad even, he would say men love to talk about themselves, so get him talking about himself and he'll love it, and that's true. And people like to brag, and I guess it's not that hard to get somebody, if you're on a date and somebody is asking you question after question after question like an interrogation, I would think for most guys a red flag goes up, but I don't understand why these guys just spill their guts, especially about their company.
It's weird.
It's stupid.
When a lot listeners, people I meet, listeners, when I'm talking to listeners to the program and I'll meet them out, people sometimes probe me for like private stuff about how the business operates, the radio business and stuff. And I don't tell anybody anything. Anything. And it's so obvious when people are like trying to get information out of you or trying to get you this guy in the Disney thing, it didn't sound like a date at all. It sounded like a reporter doing an interview. It was very obvious, I thought, what she was doing. And you wonder, what did these girls look like? They must be really good looking. The one that I saw, she looked like a model, right? So they,
I'm sure they're pretty.
But I felt bad for this guy because he obviously was not in agreement with what Disney's doing. But here's the thing that is going on, okay, in this country. There's a new Jim Crow going on, and it's a Jim Crow against whites in these woke companies. And what James O'Keefe is sharing here, there's the beginnings of a new civil rights movement of white people. Equality doesn't mean all of a sudden you discriminate against the majority, right? Like this lady basketball player, she got like slashed in her arm at a game the other day. I mean, these attacks. It doesn't mean you discriminate against the majority. That's not equality. That's not a colorblind society. And there's this movement going on. I want to talk about Disney a little bit. The problems with Disney go far beyond this. The people that run Disney, for the life of me, I don't get it. This has been going on for years now. Disney is losing billions of dollars through their wokeness. There's this new Star Wars series that's a complete flop over it. They've had this is one of several very high budget TV projects that have gone down the tubes because of the wokeness. The whole Disney Plus app has collapsed over this.
Yeah, they had to merge with Hulu.
Over this wokeness, like what this guy was talking about, that's gone to an extreme level. And the Disney, and it goes beyond just a couple of TV shows. The whole company has lost billions and billions of dollars. After the theme parks were shut down, from the lockdowns and everything. On top of that. And they don't seem to care because they're not correcting it, and I don't see them changing anything. The thing about Disney, because Kathy and I have lived in Florida all our lives. Okay, Kathy was born in Florida, and I've lived in Florida since I was very young. Mm-hmm. And when you grow up in Florida, like Kathy and I have, Disney is as part of your life as the beach is.
Yeah.
Okay, for most people that don't live in Florida, Disney is a place you may go once in your lifetime. But when you're in Florida, it's a part of your entire life. Like the beach.
Did you play the clip?
I might. I got it queued up. And I don't know. We talked about. I don't think we need to play it. Everybody's playing it. I don't think there's a need to play the clip. He just says they don't hire white people, and
like actively,
go
out of their way.
But this is the thing with Disney.
Yeah.
Okay. It really pains me because Kathy and I love going to the Disney theme parks, and I know a lot of people say, "Well, you should." We got to stop these wokesters and take our country back. We just can't surrender and let them take things over. Mr. Walt Disney, I don't mean like the company. I'm talking the man Walt Disney that started all of this was a hardcore anti-union conservative Republican. Okay? And he was like an Eisenhower Republican. And let me tell you, he was a Republican when it wasn't popular. He was, I think you got to think about it. Mr. Walt Disney, because I don't want you guys to think I'm talking about the company. Mr. Walt Disney, the man, was a Republican when the country was filled up with these FDR Democrats after the Second World War. So he was a hardcore conservative before there were such things. Disney World is got this incredible deal to be in Florida where they have their own government and everything else. And I know some things have changed with that, but they really still do kind of have their own government. DeSantis didn't get the control that he wants you to think. At the time, Disney made that deal with a Republican governor because he was so conservative, very Republican. He was very active with Republicans. Florida had a Republican governor at the time. This was in the 60s because he died in 66. And he got this deal where he could take over all this land, and Disney is so in so many ways, Walt Disney is responsible for massive growth in Florida. Florida, we have the beaches, but where Disney World is right in the middle of the state. And it is a huge metropolitan area. And a lot of people, sometimes I tell people that Disney's the largest employer in Florida, and people say, no, it's not. Not directly, but indirectly. I don't know, maybe a 2-hour driving distance of a circle around Walt Disney World is busy metropolitan areas, all because of Disney World, okay? It is so important to the Florida economy, and it has been since it opened up in 1971. And because we have these wokesters, we're not going to write off something that's so important to us and our state and everything else. They're going to go eventually, what's going to happen, Disney they're losing so much money, they're either going to have to correct this garbage or they're going to go broke and someone's going to buy the company and fix it.
David Beckham's son, Brooklyn, is married to that Nicola, what's her name? She was in that horrible Avatar film. Her dad, Peltz, tried to buy Disney, and
it could happen.
And couldn't, but I think you're right. I think the valuation of the company will go down. Now, they did just have a big hit with Inside Out 2. I didn't see it, but I hated the first movie. It made $300 million, which is very good. But you can't have a hit every 10 years and expect, but like even Bridgerton, okay? I don't watch Bridgerton, and after I watched the show, and after this third season, I'm not watching it anymore because it's turned into softcore porn. It just goes from one sex scene to the next. They have changed storylines from the original book and changed genders of characters. Like there's one character named Michael in the fourth book that the one daughter falls in love with after her husband dies. They've changed Michael to Michaela. So now she's going to fall in love with a girl. And so this agenda, I don't see it leaving anytime soon, because I think Hollywood now is being run by these radical liberals and nobody is willing to stand up to them. And I really don't see it changing unless, like you said, unless the company goes under and somebody buys it and changes everything. I want to play this.
Okay. All right, I got that audio you had, Kathy. This is ABC News, and they're talking about Biden doing debate prep. See, he went off to Camp David to spend a week doing debate prep. After 5,000 years in Washington, you think he'd already be prepped. And people have been joking that they're just trying to get the drug mixture correct. So ABC News reported what they're doing.
This is crazy.
And this is nuts. Okay, so ABC News, they're talking about Biden's debate prep at Camp David. This is not a Saturday Night Live skit. This is like the real news.
It should be.
Yeah, well, if it was a Saturday Night Live skit, it wouldn't be funny. That's the thing. All right, let's go.
Now, part 2 of that, Phil, of that debate prep, it's going to be actually putting that into action with these mock debates. This is going to include a 90-minute formal debate where the president is standing up on his feet the entire time, trying to mirror what he's going to have to do in real time next week.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
So the prep is him standing for 90 minutes?
That's right.
Oh, my goodness.
That's crazy. I'm surprised they're not doing it sitting down. I mean, they can make the rules. Trump said they could do whatever they want. Maybe they're going to make that a rule. What I would do if I was Trump, I had the idea he should bring the McDonald's out, but I think now I'm changing my mind. I think he should bring out the pictures of all the teenage girls that have been killed by illegals.
Well, 12-year-old is.
Or the 12-year-old in Lake and Riley, and then say to them, to Biden, you're responsible for the death of these girls. You and your pals. Visuals are very important.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what won Kennedy the election, other than a few stuffed ballots in Chicago. But I always learned that when they did the TV debate, it really helped him because he was younger and he wore a darker suit and all this stuff. Visuals matter. You know, you see Marjorie Taylor Greene in Congress with those huge blowups. Now everybody's doing it because of her. But I would love to see Trump come out. And I really think Steve Bannon is back in the fold advising him again. And he had the idea of, remember, Paula Jones and all them. So I think he's got something up his sleeve. And I would like to see it with these girls that have been killed by these illegals.
I wouldn't be surprised if so he can stay up for 90 minutes, that under his suit they have like leg braces that kind of help him stand up.
Well, let's see. He's practicing standing for 90 minutes. Let's see. He might not be able to make it. So let's see if they change the rules where they're sitting down. If they change the rules where they're sitting, you know it's because Biden can't stand.
Yeah, he couldn't stand for 90
because
minutes.
he couldn't do it. I'm waiting for that to happen.
But a lot of this, though, I think the media are just lowering expectations so that when he makes it through the 90 minutes, it'll look like he's young and full of energy.
I think they're scared to death.
Maybe. Well,
I really do.
Yeah, I can't wait. Well, listen, we're out of time for today, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next time.